Yo, can any of you point to a bigger fall from grace than Will Smith? It's funny because when I was younger, aside from like my dad and a handful of professional baseball players, because I was an athlete, looked up to this guy. I idolized this dude, right? Used him as the example. As a kid, I can't be the only one that wanted to be like Will Smith. And today, I feel like being that man would be a punishment. I would not want to live his reality. That's just like, hell nah, for no amount of money. I mean, hell, man, I feel like Ronda Rousey's fall off. I feel like she fell and landed better than Will Smith. Anyways, the fall of Will Smith, it just interests me. That's why we're doing this video today. Because I know of the slap, and I know of the red table talks, and I know of like all that shit with his kids and his wife and all that stuff. But I'm not too familiar with what he's currently doing now. I've seen like screenshots, and I've seen like certain clips and shorts on my feed, and it just looks like a fucking humiliation ritual to me. I don't know why he's doing this. Let's just sit back, watch, observe, and thank our lucky fucking stars that we're not this guy. This video is brought to us by Mr. Moon, titled Will Smith is Everything Wrong with Hollywood. And yeah, that's a true statement, because Will Smith is literally the example of what happens when you yank all of the attention away from them. And that's essentially what happened to Will Smith. He got banned from the Oscars for 10 years, blacklisted, blackballed by Hollywood, can't get any movies, all of his shit got canceled. This is what happens when you take away that attention from an A-list celebrity, and it could happen to any of them. Look at the ones that have fallen off. They didn't know what to do when the attention was gone.
Will Smith is everything wrong with Hollywood. You see, he had everything. He was one of the most loved people in Hollywood. He had all the fame, success, and money you could ever dream of. He had one of the most diehard fan bases. He was the leading man in all the biggest movies, and seemingly had the perfect family. But as we all know by now, a lot of this was just a facade, and the cracks in his perfect image started forming. Whether it be him getting lectured by his wife Jada for her cheating on him with his son's friend, all while he agrees to let it be posted on the internet for the world to see, or just being relentlessly emasculated, weak, spineless, and eventually even slapping Chris Rock in the most embarrassing event of the decade. It became very clear why today, Will Smith is one of the most hated celebrities around. His arrogance, spinelessness, narcissism, and fakeness makes him impossible to take seriously anymore.
And all of that shit is on full display now, because the Hollywood shield is gone. When Hollywood stops protecting you and they kick you out and they throw you out to the wolves, these people reveal who they actually are.
After a good few years of rejection, he faded into the background. Chris Rock mocked him in his special, everyone laughed at him, and he just became irrelevant. But having been the Hollywood darling that he was, he needed to change his image if he were to ever stay relevant, famous, or even get whatever acting role was left for him. He had to do
the best thing that what he should have done. You should have just stayed quiet for 10 fucking years until you were allowed back at the Oscars. Make a movie, make your grand appearance after 10 years. That's what you do. And then people won't forget about you. You're Will Smith. Stayed quiet for 10 years. After that 10 years, the Oscars unban you. You then get with a director or a producer that wants to work with you, that has a good project. You do it. Don't tell a fucking soul. The movie releases, and then bam. People are just like, oh shit, Will Smith is back. I can't believe this. And you know what? The movie wasn't half bad. Hell yeah, I completely forgot about the slap. It's been a decade. You go on some kind of tour, the likes of which you went back in the day when you were doing music, but also doing movies. Remember Getting Jiggy With It, remember Wild Wild West, right? He was making like the low-key kind of banger songs. I was a kid, so I thought they were bangers. That's kind of what he's doing now, and back then, it made sense. Young guy doing acting, but also does music, and sometimes he blends his music into the movie, right? And he'll make a track for the film, which was always kind of pretty cool to me, right? That he made music for the film. That's what he did with especially Bad Boys and Wild Wild West and a couple of those. He's since then stopped doing that. But I thought that was a cool little trademark on his end. He could have just done that, but instead, man, he wanted to recapture what he had lost. And you know what's funny is he's not even trying to get back Jada. He's not even trying to get a new girlfriend. He's not even trying to get a new wife. He's not even looking for a partner. You know what he's doing? He's trying to recapture his fame. He's trying to recapture all the attention he once had, because that's what, at the end of the day, that's what he truly values. He values that shit more than anything else. Really, because this shit's embarrassing. And embarrassing your kids like that on the internet. I'm sure his kids don't care. Jaden does a really good job of embarrassing himself. Just a soulless, vapid, empty man. That the only thing he's ever really truly cared about, man, Will Smith, you belong in the 7. You really do.
Being able to watch it. And the way he's been going about this is a warning to any out-of-touch celebrity on exactly what not to do.
Yeah. Being
one of the worst PR runs imaginable. And to see what I mean, let's take a look at the end of March, when he released his first album in over 20 years. It seemed out of nowhere that suddenly Will Smith just started popping up all over the place. But ostensibly it might have just been to promote this album, as it seemed like his first shot at reconciliation with his audience. Or maybe he just hoped his rawness would change people's hearts. After all, he claimed it was about the parts of himself that had been banished, and that he wasn't allowed to talk about on the radio. As if the real him was gonna come out, and the spineless cucked version of him.
There is no real Smith. There is no real Will Smith, I don't think. What Jim Carrey tried to tell us a whole bunch of years ago, I'm not Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey doesn't exist. Jim Carrey's not fucking real. He's a figment of your imagination. That's...
was gonna just magically disappear. But what he got instead was even more ridicule. People just called the album cringy, corny, calculating, and quote, a pointless apology to—
Yeah, calculating is one way you can describe Will Smith. Look at all of the movies that he takes. You know why they've all been bangers? Those movies were built with Will Smith in mind, and vice versa. Will Smith was built and designed for these movies, and that's the way he operated with his PR team. Will Smith only took slam dunk roles. Will Smith never took any risks in his career with his choice of movies. Look at all the movies that he's done. They've all been good. But look at all of these other really, really talented actors. They've been in bad films. They've been in flops. They've been in shit that tanked, right? They tried to do a character that maybe they weren't good at. Maybe the script wasn't good, right? But they took a chance on trying to expand their craft, right? And get, range, which Will Smith has to a degree, but not like some of these other guys. Some of these other guys were willing to fail in the pursuit of making something great. Will Smith played everything safe with all of his movie decisions, all of his movie choices. What he decided to act in was always a safe bet. I always see Will Smith. When I watch a Will Smith movie, he doesn't disappear into the character. I just see Will Smith. And while he's a good actor, why he's a great actor, he doesn't have the same levels of depth, dude. Like Denzel Washington runs circles around fucking Will Smith in the acting department, man. Denzel, that motherfucker literally disappears. You can't even see Denzel. You just see the character. You just see the person he's portraying. Book of Eli, man. Training Day. You don't see Denzel. You just see a bastard cop, man. And so. But when you watch a Will Smith movie, it's just Will Smith. It's kind of like watching Vin Diesel a little bit, except Will is a better actor than Vin. I'm sorry I'm talking so much on this.
Tour for the dumbest Oscar gaffe in history. He then released his next shot at becoming famous through music, with his new song called Pretty Girls.
Okay, listen, I have heard this song, and it's just like... Brother, you're my dad's age, Will. You're my father's age. You know how fucking embarrassed and annoyed I would be if my dad was out here talking about, I like pretty girls. Yeah, like, what? What? Dad, if you don't sit your dumb ass down, you're embarrassing us.
And the response was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
You see, the music video for this song had insane production quality.
And like, I'm not saying you can't be old and make music. Eminem is your age, dog, and he crushes it every time. I still like him. Then again, sometimes I feel like I need to have like a thesaurus, a dictionary, and fucking an AI dictionary pulled up on my tablet just to, understand his bars now. It used to be easy, but Eminem is so fucking good and intricate now that, like, I only listen to him when I really want to use my brain, when I really want to think. But you don't do it good, Will. Like, you just... Oh, and speaking of Eminem, please don't feel yourself and talk shit to that guy. Don't embarrass yourself like that again. Do we have to relive what we relived all those years ago, Will, where you got embarrassed by M? Will Smith don't gotta cuss in his raps to sell records. Well, I do. So fuck him and fuck you too. That shit's been living rent-free in my head for decades, Will.
But it didn't take long for the video to get a 60% dislike ratio, from people calling it a midlife crisis to a humiliation ritual.
I'm saying,
as some people called it, quote, the gayest.
The gayest. Didn't see that. Yo, the comment section is spot on. I can't think of any other way to put it. Midlife crisis, humiliation ritual. And the fact is, like, when I think of a humiliation ritual, I think of people. I think of like someone's doing that to you. He's doing this to himself, though. So to call it a humiliation ritual seems kind of strange, doesn't it? But that's what it is.
Straight song they'd ever heard. One commenter even begged the actor to take what dignity he had left and fade into a distant memory, making him even more of a joke. So he had to change his strategy. How could he become relevant to Generation Z if not through music? Well, he had to tap into the TikTok audience. With his calculating strategy with his team, he would pour all of
I didn't even know he did this.
his money into getting whatever relevance he could through social media. That's why suddenly people started noticing on their algorithms Will Smith was everywhere, with random TikTokers like Brooke Monk. It was just so strange. Talking with people he had no association with and no connection with most of the people being at least 30 years younger than him. It just looks so weird and strange. It was as though each appearance was a calculated attempt by an entire team of people in Hollywood to show Will Smith in a more positive light.
You know, I did see this meme, and it was a Will Smith meme, and under the comment section, someone was like, Will, just be like every other midlife crisis and buy a Lamborghini. He already has that. He probably has 4. No, man, that shit doesn't satisfy him anymore. That shit doesn't satiate his need for validation and attention and what he requires from, essentially, strangers. It was one thing when he was in movies getting attention, because that attention was kind of given to him against his will. No pun intended. Now he's practically begging for the attention, which is just like, ooh, bro, no.
Because what better way to get in people's good books than paying off a bunch of influencers and riding off of their clouds? But unfortunately, his strategy didn't work. Take, for example, his interview with the School of Hard Knocks, a YouTube and TikTok page about—
I don't even know, and you know the crazy thing is, Will, that you still could have done this, right? You still could have done this, but you could have just gone to influencers that were, like, I don't know, my age, or just content creators that were my age, or just a little bit older, because they exist. Why do you even need Gen fucking Z? They don't give a fuck about you. You want to know why? Because out of all of Gen Z, maybe 5 of them have seen The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Maybe 10. I'll give it that. Maybe 10 of them have seen The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And that's no knock against Gen Z. It's just they don't give a fuck about you. This is a different generation. What did you think? Man, you should have just gone for people who actually knew who you were and knew your work, knew your career, knew your life. Like, I don't know, me? We could talk about iRobot. We could talk about Bad Boys. We could talk about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You can give me stories about Jazzy Jeff. Like, I'd have so many questions for you. But instead, you're hanging out with these kids that are just like, hey, guys, look at this old dinosaur I found.
Financial literacy. Suddenly, out of nowhere, there appears Will Smith, and he seemed like he was trying to be open and honest with his responses. He spoke about how money didn't bring happiness, how fame was isolating, and some of the emotional struggles he had faced.
And
you're still chasing fame. You're still what is even
material can actually satisfy you, and it's a similar abyss at rock bottom. And the realization is that what you're actually looking for is you. What you're actually actually looking for is a comfort that will only come with you totally by yourself with none of this shit.
And to be fair, this is something that happens with a lot of celebrities. If they have a movie to promote or a song to promote, they'll go on random podcasts to try and get a little bit of relevance to promote their movie or upcoming project. But something about this interview didn't seem normal. It was as though everything was
It's forced. It's all forced.
rehearsed and way too polished.
Yeah.
Like he was trying to be someone he isn't. As though the entire world would just forget about all the stuff that had happened a few years ago with him and Jada and the Oscars. It was all too fake and the comments called him out on it. But
He's still acting here. I don't think that Will Smith can turn off his acting. I feel like right now, while he's talking to this kid, he's still in the same mindset as if he were on the red carpet talking to a Hollywood reporter. I don't think he can turn it off, to be honest.
despite not getting the reaction he'd been hoping for, Smith then kept on pushing. He was going to force himself onto everyone's algorithms until he could finally become relevant again. As the entire industry of
But to what end, Will? To what end? You still can't be in movies. You're banned from the Oscars for 10 years. I forget how many of those years have passed by now, but it's going to be a minute before you get any more movie roles, before you get any more opportunities with film and all that stuff. You know, you could have just gone abroad and started acting abroad. Man, go find yourself. You could have been in manga. You could have been in like a fucking dope-ass anime movie that was made overseas, right? You could have done something like that. You could have done the equivalent of what athletes do when they either get banned from the league, or they get kicked out of the league, or they decide to leave the league. Prime example, Trevor Bauer. He got kicked out because of some bitch, right? So he went overseas and started playing baseball. That's it. He didn't try to become a fucking social media influencer. Like, continue to do your craft, Will, what you're good at. Stop with the music.
Hollywood relies on this, because if he's not relevant anymore, his entire life and soul will be stripped away from him. But it's almost jarring to see somebody manufacture themselves into relevance this much and so visibly and obviously. Like on the 11th of June 2025, when people in London walking past King's Cross Station were greeted by an interesting sight. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Will Smith was performing.
I saw this as a short, and I couldn't, like, I almost dialed 911, guys, because I legitimately thought that the cringe reaper was on his way. I really did. I almost died from this.
Performing some of his greatest hits from the 90s. It was just out of nowhere, completely unexpected, and a big crowd started going around the actor. This time he would appeal to people's sense of nostalgia. The old Will Smith, the one before Hollywood corrupted him. The world wants that so bad even.
I feel like you corrupted yourself. Is it a corrupt place? Can it corrupt you? Yeah, but that doesn't mean you have to let it.
Told the host of the Broken Record podcast.
The world is so desperate for nostalgia right now.
Yeah.
Are they, though? Are they? Trying to sound like fucking Steve Rogers from one of the Captain America movies, I can't remember, when he dons the old uniform. Nick Fury's like, that a little old-fashioned? And Steve is like, I think old-fashioned is what the world needs right now.
The world wants that so bad, and it's
But do they?
like people just yearning for, you know, a time when things were a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And he might be right in that sense, but when you actually look at the crowd while he performs this music, it's completely dead and the vibe just looks extremely boring, as people called out in the comments. It was just too obvious what he was trying to do, and it still seemed like none of this would help Will Smith's image.
No.
Any of his attempts at quote-unquote authenticity just felt shallow, and the nostalgia aspect just made people sad how much Will Smith had actually fallen off. So he would try one more trick, this time by forcing himself onto KSI, a sudden out of nowhere friendship that definitely wasn't strategically planned and probably paid off for. You see, recently you might have noticed them together. They've now been doing a few TikToks together, and Will Smith even supported KSI at a Legends v Creators football match. But people didn't really think too much.
It's just like, I just can't get over the fact that had the slap never happened, Will wouldn't be here. Do you really think that if the slap had never happened, that Will Smith would ever interact with someone like KSI, be for real. At best, it's cringe. At worst, it's disingenuous as fuck. I'm here to tell you, right now, every single person that Will Smith has encountered or paid to be around, man, in these past couple months, prior to the slap, he probably looked down on all of you. He probably looked at y'all like peasants. Look at all these streamers and content creators. They just wish they were me. They just wish they were actors. Fucking clowns. I'm almost certain that's how Will Smith thought about all of you, all of us, all of that shit. So, like, for him to sit here and be like, I am now a man of the people, without ever having earned that title to begin with.
The elephant in the room was just so obvious that this was nothing more than a publicity stunt trying to force himself onto everyone to like him again, which is one of the worst ways to be liked in the first place, all being a PR stunt designed to try and recapture the relatability he used to.
What Will Smith is, and it's so uncomfortable. Will Smith is the type of person, and I've encountered people like this before in my life, and they make me feel so uncomfortable. Have you ever met someone or been around someone, or even worse, even been kind of friends with someone that they're always trying to either buy your attention, buy your loyalty, and buy your friendship by literally whatever means? It could be through buying you food. It could be through doing you unnecessary favors that you didn't ask for. It could be them being hella proactive and giving you money of some kind, or like, you know what I'm saying? Just like overt, extra, unnecessary niceness for seemingly no reason that you either one, don't care for, don't need, or didn't ask for, right? But they're always, you know, like, I've met people like that. Let me buy you this. Let me give you that. Let me do this for you. Let me do that for you. And that's Will. That is Will in a nutshell.
But now a middle-aged man with a broken family and a stained reputation, which the comments would let him know about.
Like, instead of, and that's another thing. Speaking of family, completely forgot about the family. You don't have to fuck with Jada anymore. I wish you wouldn't. But your children, bro, go chill with them. Especially Jaden. That fucker really does need a dad, man. And just by looking at him, he didn't grow up with one. That's sad, Will. You were there the whole time, but guess what? You were absent as fuck.
Almost everyone in the comments.
No one can say you're a deadbeat, but bro, emotionally and as a man, you were not there.
Would refer to the slap, whilst others just called this out as a desperate PR move. People roasted Will Smith for trying way too hard to stay relevant in one of the most cringy ways imaginable. And again, these collaborations with these influencers, especially with KSI, just seem so out of touch. Like he just went online, typed in famous influencers, and decided to go with the biggest one. Even
yeah, probably. Well, no, out of the top three, it just makes sense that he goes with KSI because music and dance, Will has done, can do, loosely, music and dance, whatever. But video games, what the fuck does he know about video games? He's not going to hang out with the sidemen. And then Britain's Got Talent, that just wouldn't make sense.
if they have nothing in common and nothing
KSI made the most sense out of the top three.
To actually share value. And while you could say they have a common interest in music, KSI is not exactly known just for his music. But maybe he just did this because KSI's audience is also known for being unquestionably loyal to KSI, no matter what, and always supporting all of his endeavors. Maybe Will Smith saw this, hoping to.
Or maybe Will Smith saw that KSI did do music, and because KSI's music is fucking trash, he probably thought that it would make him look better. Because I gotta be honest, I think I'd rather listen to Will than KSI. So maybe that's why Will picked KSI. He damn sure wasn't gonna pick any fucking musician better than him, that's for sure. And musicians that are better than Will don't have time for Will. So this was kind of like, this had to happen.
To cultivate a similar fan base, leech off KSI's one, and try and appeal to Generation Z. But the fact that this is so spectacularly failed really points to one of the major problems in Hollywood. about celebrities anymore. The celebrities of the past are done. People don't care about the Hollywood industry or the actors involved. You see, his fading redemption arc is a warning to all Hollywood stars. Every year, there's more of a disconnect between regular people and Hollywood elites. Just a decade or two before, celebrities...
That's because there's no more mystery. There's no more mystery behind the celebrity. I remember pre-internet, pre-phone, where some of these celebrities, I'm telling you, bro, they almost seem perfect. They almost seem like they weren't even real people, right? They almost seem mythical. You wouldn't even believe it if they were standing next to you, right? It was almost like the same aura that Superman had. That's why he can get away with not having a secret fucking disguise. His secret disguise is him, right? Because people wouldn't be able to believe it, right? That's the level that Hollywood, that celebrities of yesterday had. That's the status, right? That's the aura that they had, because everything was left up to the imagination. But in a world of social media, and in the world of the internet, and in the world of everyone shares their every fucking thought online, and these celebrities can't help themselves, they make themselves look stupid, they put their foot in their mouth, they act out, right? And that's just that's what happens, man. A whole bunch of A-list Hollywood celebrities, yeah, they are fully grown physically, but some of them, man, in their head, they're still 13 years old. Man, they never grew up. That's why they're in the career that they're in. It's the best place for people that never grew up. I kind of like forgot where the fuck I was going with any of that. Let's just keep going.
From Hollywood were basically untouchable royalty. People would never hear from them unless there was some kind of scandal, or they would
Exactly. What I was getting at.
Speak in an award show or interview. Everything was perfectly laid out for them. The laughs were pre-recorded, the press coverage was manufactured, and their true selves was hidden behind their gated mansions. They lived their whole lives almost completely separated from the rest of the world. But after more and more videos of these people began being posted online, all the virtue signaling during COVID, the Imagine song, from all the...
They exposed themselves, man. There was nothing left to the imagination. There was nothing left to the imagination anymore, man. You know that saying, never meet your heroes? Well, guess what? Because of the internet, some of us got to meet and see our heroes, and we did not like what we saw. And that kind of killed it. That kind of killed the illusion. It killed the mystique. You know what I'm saying?
Creepy Diddy parties and all the out-of-touch
and then this fucker
woke political virtue signaling that went on for years meant that their pure narcissism was finally exposed online, and people began to despise them. We also saw this clearly with Rachel Zegler. She was doing great, getting huge roles at such a young age. She was literally destined to be one of the most beloved Hollywood stars.
But she let the internet and fucking SJW ideas and logic and basically the loudest, most annoying people in the room got inside her head, and she decided to show her ass in a career path that would pay her generational wealth. And she couldn't look past her own ego and her own ideals and logic to build herself generational wealth. Morons, man. Complete buffoons. If I'm on the verge of getting paid $10 million just for remembering fucking words, there's no way I'm going to jeopardize that for anything. You don't fuck with the money. You don't fuck up the money. But see, when you're so self-important and full of yourself, you think you can do things that will fuck up the money, and the money will stay not fucked up because you live in a world of delusion, because that's what Hollywood is. Delusion and delusion.
But unfortunately for her, her rise came at the very wrong point in time. You see, once she managed to be cast as Snow White, the dream job of almost any young...
And then Peter Dinklage's bitch ass also didn't help this in any regard either. And not many people would have known about it. Not many people would have talked about it because news spread slow before the internet and before cell phones, right? Peter Dinklage could have got away with saying, we shouldn't use dwarves anymore because it hurts my little fucking feelings, right? So I'm gonna fuck over all of these other small people that would love to get paid to be in this movie and it would look good on their resume. Nah, fuck all that. I want to be a whiny little turd, right? And pre-internet, pre-social media, pre-cell phone, he would have gotten away with that. No one would have known. The people that did know, they wouldn't be able to scream loud enough, and their echoes would just be that. Not even echoes. They would just be into the void. They would be screaming at nothing, right? But because of social media, because of the internet, because everything is so in your face all the time, Peter exposed himself. He did, man. I'm telling you, back in the day, a lot of these celebrities could probably say stupid shit, and not many people would say anything, dude, or it would just like fall to the wayside. Not anymore, man. Not anymore. Y'all expose yourselves way too often to where people are not willing to look the other way anymore. Like, people can't look the other way anymore because then they would be complicit in your retardedness.
Young actress. Her real self was finally revealed to the world through interviews, and people for the first time actually came together and saw how hollow most of these actors really are. People just called her out on it this time, as dismissive, arrogant, and virtue signaling. And while she probably was just saying whatever she thinks Hollywood wants her to say,
she's not gonna be safe for the prince, and she's not gonna be...
Two inferior actresses right here. Kal-El, no. God damn it. And then this broad. I've never seen her in anything. I don't even know what her resume even consists of. And then she opens her mouth. Now I don't even want to know.
Dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
The tone of it all really alienated everyone from the movie, all at the worst possible time when people were already hating on most modern actors and most modern remakes of movies.
You know why? You know what's one actress that I'm thinking of right now from my time that I can't remember her ever opening her mouth and saying anything dumb or fucking retarded or illogical, that I still view as like an iconic actress from my time? Julia Roberts. I don't think I've ever heard of that woman being in controversy. I don't think I've ever heard her say any stupid shit. Maybe she has and I missed it. Point it out for me, right? But like, I think of Julia Roberts and like she's so leagues above so many of you ladies in Hollywood right now. And age doesn't disqualify you from being in movies. Bring back Julia Roberts.
As by this point, after years of this stuff never ending, people just don't care about what they have to say. We're just now at a point where we dismiss these celebrities, as you can literally smell their false relatability a mile away. It's quite the contrast from just a few decades ago when celebrities used to be praised for their speeches, and they actually did seem to care about certain issues, and oftentimes this made people feel seen and
Nah. This is just a previous generation of fakeness. I've always despised celebrity worship. I have, bro. You got me fucked up. You got me so fucked up if you think that I would meet Leonardo DiCaprio and break out into tears. Oh my god, I can't believe it's really you. You got me so fucked up. That shit is so, like, I feel like you're like the lowest on the totem pole if you behave that way. You break out into tears because you're meeting a celebrity. Man, that's so like on a human level, man, you're just like, I feel like you're lesser than mentally than all the rest of us. That's just...
So these Hollywood actors gained more fans and ultimately more money and power. And so they would do whatever they could to tap into this more and more, saying whatever they thought people wanted to hear. Which is why we can now see these speeches for what they are. It's just performative word vomit to get people to stroke their egos, get them better roles, and more influence. And now they have no power. Look at any of the recent US elections. No one actually cares what celebrities have to say about these people. Or even
except for the politicians that are paying them to speak on their fucking behalf. I've always thought that was stupid too. From both sides. Not just Republicans, but Democrats alike. Hiring these fucking celebrities to speak on your behalf. Marshall Mathers, no one fucking cares, man, you speaking on behalf of Kamala. And whoever the fuck spoke on behalf of the right, no one cares either. Go home. Did you go to college for political science? Huh? No, you didn't. You have the same general fucking knowledge that I do, yet for some reason you're talking down to me. Man. You're telling me how I should think. You're telling me how I should behave. You're basically telling me how it is. Coming from the 1 fucking percent. You can suck my ass. I hate when they do this. I hate when they do this. Both sides. Keep the fucking celebrities out of it. They don't know anything. And obviously it's not going to fool me, but there's a whole bunch of dumb fucking people out there that will be fooled by a celebrity telling them some random bullshit. Oh, well, if Alicia Keys said it, fuck it. I like Alicia Keys. I'm gonna do it. I just used Alicia Keys as an example. I don't have anything wrong with Alicia Keys. I think she's a phenomenal singer. But here's the thing, though. I don't want to hear her tell me dick about politics. It's like the equivalent of me taking baseball advice from a tennis player. I'm not gonna learn shit.
Just the success of recent movies. Not that long ago, people would queue outside the cinemas just to see the next big movie.
Yeah, okay, well, here, Moon, to be fair, I know where you're going with this. Streaming platforms have killed the fucking theater. Not so much Hollywood celebrities. They've always been trying to lecture us for the longest time, but we still showed up in droves for the fucking Avengers. We still showed up in droves for Wolf of Wall Street. I love the movie Wolf of Wall Street, but still, anytime Leo wants to sit here and talk about fucking climate change and then get on his private fucking jet, he can actually suck my ass. It doesn't take away from his talent. I'll still appreciate his movies, but brother, shut the fuck up.
They'd follow any movie with the biggest stars' names
Streaming kind of killed this shit, for the most part, I feel.
attached. But oftentimes now, these movies just bomb at the box office. People are over all of this stuff. No one cares who's even acting, and the performative activism is just so nauseating.
The reason no one cares to... okay, so that's kind of true. But when you're showing only superhero movies, that's even more true because a lot of fans and a lot of moviegoers of this type of movie, myself included, we don't go to see Chris Evans. We go to see Captain America. We don't go to see Robert Downey Jr. Well, kind of, because he's so good. But we don't go to see Robert Downey Jr. We go to see Iron Man, right? We don't go to see Mark Ruffalo. We go to see the Hulk, right? And what is that? Is that Captain Marvel? I don't give a fuck about her. To be honest, I don't give a fuck about the character or Brie Larson. And yes, that is a personal attack. So yeah, the reason that like these days that no one really cares about the actor, it's just simply because there's a lot of these movies that the actor kind of doesn't matter, to be honest, because that's just part of the genre. Now, if you were to show other films that weren't this genre and say that very same thing, then sure. But it's kind of hard to say that when realistically, I kind of don't give a fuck who's playing the character as long as the character is fun, as long as the writing is good, as long as the writing is good, as long as everything makes sense, right? I kind of care less who the actor is. Kind of like I had to have been one of the only people that wasn't mad that Heath Ledger got cast for the Joker, because I was just like, let's see what he can do. If it's bad, it's bad, but if it's good, a lot of you morons are gonna feel fucking stupid. And oh, did they? And I assume that all of them have since apologized. I would, anyway. But anyways.
Performative activism is just so nauseating. And people today in 2025 just have much bigger things to worry about. Nobody wants to be pandered to, or see I'm just like you moments. All people want is to be entertained, and if celebrities aren't going to provide it, they'll find it elsewhere. And this is why Will Smith just can't make a comeback. The whole situation of him slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars was so outrageous that it finally woke people up to the bizarre fakery and uncaring attitude of Hollywood elites. None of these people care about you. Even for Chris Rock. Nobody protected him, nobody stopped this at the Oscars, and then Will Smith went back and sat down, and then he got an Oscar.
Because it's a room full of fake people. That's it.
Afterwards, and a standing ovation, without anyone actually coming out of their own bubble to realize how bizarre and sociopathic the industry truly is. I mean, is it any wonder that LA and Hollywood itself is literally crumbling today? It's clear that this is just a dying industry.
Oh, hold on. Expendables 4? Trash. Joker? As soon as they told me it was going to be a musical, I wrote that shit off. Trash. Terminator Genesis? I haven't given a fuck about Terminator since Salvation. Trash.
This is just a dying industry.
Snow White? So fucking bad that I didn't pay to see it and I still want my money back. X-Men Dark Phoenix? I don't give a damn.
Smith's new press tour trying to fix his image, thinking all humans can just ignore the past and believe in anything.
However, I have heard some good things about that TV show Alien Earth or something like that. Yo, tell me in the comments. Is it really worth it? I've been hearing nothing but good things, so I might check it out. I think it's on FX, and I haven't watched FX. If it is on FX, I haven't watched FX in years. I think the last thing I watched on FX was like that 70s show. I didn't know FX still existed. What streaming platform can I catch it on, or is it strictly for TV? I don't have TV, man. I just watch streaming platforms and YouTube. And matter of fact, I don't think I've ever had TV, to be completely honest, like cable, direct TV, like all that stuff. I've never had that my entire life. I've never needed it, nor desired it. I don't want to pay $80 fucking for a TV package, and I'm only watching like 1 or 2 channels. That seems like an insane waste of money. It's probably even more expensive. Like the sports packages, man, I can't pay $120 for that. You know how many games in a baseball season? 164. I can't watch every game. That's insane. That's a waste of money to me. Every now and again, I'll go to the theater. I used to go to the theater all the time, guys. I used to love it. It's my hobby. It's something that I really, really enjoy. I used to go to the theater all the time. I loved it. One of my favorite things to do. And in the past 3-4 years, I think the only thing I've gone to the movie theater for, Spider-Man No Way Home, Deadpool and Wolverine, and that's it. I think I am gonna go see Superman next month.
They're told is just a clear reflection of why nobody cares about actors.
Oh God, and look at these abominations of movies. Right here. Morbius. Good God. I don't know what was worse. Morbius or Madam Web or Moonfall. That right there is the trifecta of garbage. Holy. Godzilla. I kind of still do fucks with Godzilla. Sometimes. It just depends on it just depends. Anyways, that's it. I'll see y'all later.